I think the big thing you want to get out there is make sure XSS doesn't get his Magnus.
Yeah.
That's such a comfort pick for him, and it's able to just have a lot of flexibility and provide a lot to that team.
The other adjustment I was hoping...
They have left that one open.
Yeah. The other adjustment I was kind of hoping is that they put Skylark back onto these type of team fighting heroes rather than these just like carries, because he's been playing like these like Furions. It's just like he's been playing very different heroes that I personally don't really like seeing him on for this team. I like seeing him on like the Legion. I mean, that one is of course going to be banned out. The Nyx is that we saw him super dominant in Boston.
Yep.
So
they have not picked Treant yet this tournament.
No,
they haven't. But it's been banned almost every game versus them. It's been like Wisp Treant banned every single time from the Chinese teams versus them. And this time IG's leaving both. And they get their Mags and they get their Jug.
Get the Magnus and
Sticking to their guns.
I think when they could fall back onto these comfort picks, that just allows XSS and Burning to just do what they do best and just get in there. Juggernaut gives them the ability to team fight a little bit, and I don't know. There's nobody better than XSS Magnus. He just gets in, gets those RPs, and is able to turn around team fights like crazy.
It's Mag Jug. I mean, Jug super safe, strong safe laner versus Trey can break the living armor charges early with the spin. It's really strong. I was going to say Mousesports, I was wondering if they were going to go for the Wisp type strategy, but since they're actually Tree, they really don't like showing both their supports in the first two. They like to pick one core.
Wisp banned
and
anyway.
Support. Oh, and it was banned. Okay, oops. Apologies. Yeah, so they go for the Beastmaster Vision for the team fight. They just have now they have two Vision games. They're playing a big Vision game already with the Tree and the Beastmaster, and it's a BKB piercing lockdown versus the Jug.
Yeah, I'm surprised they would go for this. After already banning out the Monkey King, maybe they're just that afraid of it. Because when you pick these kind of two heroes, you're able to track Monkey King and able to see him in the forest much more easier with those Hawks and the Treant just being able to be invis running around that jungle.
Yeah, the fear of the Boca though. You look at that.
I mean, you said Vision.
Monkey King or Spirit.
They have left the Ricky out there.
They did leave the Ricky and the Mag.
I guess they hope to ban Phase 2.
I think they have to. I think, but with Mag, that's the thing. Tree's decent for Ricky, but with Mag, Ricky, Jug, that's like IG's.
I think you're worried about the 5-man though coming out from Mousesports with the Beastmaster second pick though.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
Because they didn't go back for the Keeper, right? We've seen them pick Keeper in almost every single game, but this game they're going for a different sort of strategy.
That's a good point.
I think you have to be scared of that. And XSS he's really good with the RPs, but it does take him a very long time to get online. I would say it takes like 25-30 minutes before he's actually able to join the team fights. And I think with the Mousesports Beastmaster, they can push very early on with even Avenge Corp or take a pick from IG's book.
That's a really good point, yeah. Do you think the Jug maybe dissuaded them from picking the COD a little bit too, or do you think that they're just doing their own complete different strategy?
I think if you don't pick Keeper first and you let Magnus through, you're going to expect Magnus Juggernaut. And you don't want a Keeper when you expect a Magnus Jug first. Just no point.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the Na'Vi fans in the crowd. Plenty of them in the yellow and black. Not here, of course, at the Major, but plenty of their fans are, that's for sure. Into the second phase bans, the Ember being banned out. We've seen this quite a lot, second phase targeted bans at OP.
Yeah, I think they want to make sure Thug gets kind of a good matchup in the middle. At the same time, oh, sorry. I was looking at IGs and I got them mixed up. It's a little small for me here. But yeah, there goes the Baboka, the Ricky there. Yeah.
That's the safe ban, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry.
I would rather ban like Tinker or something, maybe. I don't know. I think targeting OP might be a little bit better, personally. Because I think they can match the roaming of Riki with the Treant Protector. It's like not that big of an issue.
But I can agree with that.
They've left the Lina open, which has been a favoured OP hero.
Yeah, Lina's also pretty
in
good
the last
too.
couple of patches. Played quite a lot of it here already.
Slark and the Ursa bans. The Slark, I mean, to give the Mag, to have the Mag try to get a good lane, and then the Ursa, good matchup versus Jug. It's also one of their favorite heroes that Mousesports likes to run still. Mousesports tends to run the Ursa also when they have something to like boost him in a way, enable him more. Like they do have the Roar, they do have Vision and all that for him. They tend to always go for this track or something to make him better. But IG goes back for the more standard Crystal Maiden.
Very standard IG pick.
This is just one of those stock picks that does so well. Being able to provide the Arcane Aura to give you mana. One of Magnus's problems was with the big nerf is that he ended up having a lot of mana problems, and now this Crystal Maiden hero is going to be able to provide everything he needs to get online and be powerful.
And the depush factor. So now they have the mana region, so they can depush if there is going to be that big heavy push lineup, and they have two spammable nukes with the Nova and the Shockwave.
What's Baboka going to play though?
That's a good question. No Earth Spirit, no Monkey, no Ricky. Rubik?
I would imagine something that would benefit one of those melee heroes that would
Ogre?
benefit, but I can't think of anything really. The Ogre could work because it's just the Bloodlust combo. But most of his are gone, and we saw the Pudge that he played, and he didn't really have the
It was
greatest time.
a lackluster game, but
it was a very lackluster game.
I don't know if that was just the game itself, but I mean, you don't pick that hero without having somebody who's confident with it. So I'm wondering if maybe that they've experimented and tried it a lot, just that game didn't end up being very effective.
Maybe Slardar. I think Slardar's fine too.
Yeah. Slardar could definitely work. Oh,
There's
they
the
go
bounty,
for the
yeah.
bounty themselves, so they go for their own type of vision game.
It's funny,
Interesting.
Mousesports has these instant picks. I
Timber.
feel like they have a very clear idea of how they want to move
I think they
forward with
both
this.
do as
Timber.
well. Mousesports
Timber.
very
Yeah.
quick in there with that Timber. That was an insta lock.
That was I'm like, Timber, though.
We don't care what you're going to pick. You pick
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter, we don't care. We're locking Timbersaw.
With Beastmaster and stuff too, like they don't have anyone who really benefits from the aura at all right now. They don't really have a push type lineup either.
It's not a great lane matchup
But
for anyone.
if you look
No.
at Invictus Gaming, they don't really have a lockdown for that Timber. If that Timber
RP, baby.
I mean, one
Yeah.
ultimate, 120 seconds, it ends up being a little
Even
rough.
Frostbite's pretty bad.
Frostbite's
with
pretty good.
Timbersaw
Yeah.
now.
And they have pretty high magic burst already too, with Shuriken Toss, Nova, Shockwave onto a Timbersaw.
But if they think that
Early?
Timbersaw can get out of control really quickly, I find
I
IG's
suppose.
going to have some trouble having
I
have
think
trouble handling it.
Timbersaw has a lot more value when you know you're going to be in a good lane, though. Are they going to safe lane Timbersaw? Unlikely with a disruptor on
See
their
how
team.
fast they're
Yeah.
banned?
I like the
no
Lena. I like the
hesitation.
Lena ban. though.
They
I'd
feel
like
like
it
they
too.
really know what they want to go into in this game. I'm wondering, their old coach is actually one of their former players.
They've got 2 minutes and 8 of reserve time on the 5th pick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Knoxville somewhere is busy scurrying around trying to find out whether that's a record at a major.
They
It's
like
an
insta-pick.
absurd amount of time remaining.
Yeah. No, now they have a lot of time to utilize this last pick and really think about, those sort of matchups.
Yeah. But yeah, the OP Lena banned out. They got an opportunity to do that, which is good. They're going to go for the
Safe lane
TA.
Timber.
Yeah, so now their lanes are revealed.
Yeah. This is a
Alright.
very interesting draft from Mousesports.
So OP
Interesting
play.
is definitely the word.
What else does OP play, man?
What
he's
does OP play?
Yeah. His
well,
Tinker's
the
still
Lena, the
there.
Ember's gone. The Tinker's pretty good. SF, Storm. He's played both.
Those aren't good matchups though versus TA.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
He's going to have to find
Ember
something
would have
a
been
little
really
bit different.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ember would
I
have been
mean,
great.
but-
Maybe that's why the
They
Ember
were
went in the
thinking
second
ahead.
phase.
That's
yeah.
the thing. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if they came into this with a very strict
It does
plan.
seem like that, doesn't
SF.
it? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so they're going to go for a safer SF.
Tough matchup, but they
which-
will have the bounty at least in the lane, like kind of to help out the SF to kind of, and he gets the Crystal Maiden aura too, and maybe like an Empower or two from XXS.
And if you use, the Orb of Venom, now that takes off refraction charges, right? So
it does
It does
not know.
Oh,
Does not.
my
Yeah,
mistake then.
That's okay.
Right then, prediction time. Time to put the
Yeah,
men
keep
on
the
the
camera on
spot.
Conrad.
Yeah, let's keep it on Conrad. Right in the
Nice.
face.
I was one who, I
face of
probably
disappointment.
instilled
I think
that.
you told
I think
me
I instilled that into him because I discussed it when we were in the other room and,
Stop
and we were
stalling.
Wrong,
Yeah.
Stop stalling. It is
I
time
got
for
you, Connie.
predictions.
You know what?
Conrad.
I'm going to have to go with Invictus Gaming. They got that really core too, the Magnus and the Juggernaut, and I think those two are going to get out of control this game.
Okay, IG for Conrad.
IG for me. Predicted him as #1 in the tournament. In my compendium predictions, I'm sticking by it.
Okay. Folk can be fairly okay because neither of his teams are playing right now.
Yeah, IG, definitely.
Gonna
I
go
think they
with
have
IG
a much
as well?
stronger lineup. I didn't really understand the
Okay.
Timbersaw pick.
So all three of you going for IG.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Confident.
No believers here. 3 picks out of 3 for Invictus Gaming in the opening game of our round of 16, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. All have gone for Invictus Gaming. Where's the Mousesports belief? The underdog. Let's find out whether they've got it in them to come off and pull off another shock result here, this time in the Kiev Major. They've done it at Boston. Can they do it again? Let's head over to our commentary team, live from the Palace of the Arts for the Kiev Major Game 1.
Groups, apart from maybe a bit shaky against Secret overall, I would say, in their series, but they still will be difficult to deal with, I think, here from Mouse. We're going to see how it
What do you
all
think
goes down.
about, like playstyle-wise, what do you think that Mouse has brought so far to the group stage that hasn't really, what do you think specifically that hasn't gone right for them? You know, like, what is it about Mouse that just doesn't seem to be clicking anymore?
I don't know. I'm not sure their drafting has been as sharp necessarily as other teams. Obviously, I think the game that is worth coming back to is the game against Newbee, the third game, which actually decided Mouse's seeding to being a 1-3 team instead of a 2-2 team. the matchup that they had against Newbee, they had a 20K lead at 25 minutes or something like that, a huge advantage, and they managed to throw that away. It's a bit worrying if you're a team that wants to place high and you don't close out games that are easy for you, because then if you don't have the best start, can you pull through against a team like IG in the mid game? In this game, going to be interesting to see. I feel like draft-wise, this is very different from Mouse compared to IG, who are more stable.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very standard opening for IG, right? Like a Juggernaut Magnus. Like, what more could you want? You have an SF mid, pretty standard supports for the most part. But Mousesports, I had a chance to talk to Spartan. He said, hey, we're going to bring something a little different to the main stage because obviously what we're doing isn't really working out for us. So this could be what they need, right? A change up in a draft, something that is unexpected, something that IG are not maybe going to be used to, especially considering the fact that it's kind of looking like this draft is a very mid-game focused and maybe very fight-heavy. It could be that this is a little bit more aggression than IG is used to. An early glimpse is going to be able to pull back Q. Mousesports setting himself up for an early potential first blood. Q's going to try and ease his way through the trees, but a swing from maybe next time. Finishes him up, and Burning can do nothing to stop it.
Great start for Mouse. Looks like it maybe caught IG a bit off guard that this was an aggressive opening as far as, I don't know if they're going to play it as a full tri-lane, but they definitely started 3 heroes in the bottom. Looking now at Madara versus XXS, this is a great matchup for the Timbersaw. Wins against most melee strength heroes. I think the lane to watch for now, though, will probably be mid, since Baboka will be putting a lot of pressure here on Thug. And this matchup, Shadowfiend versus TA, is not like it was a couple of years ago, or maybe even just 1 year ago. I'd say Shadowfiend fares a lot better in this matchup now than he did back then. And with the help of the Bounty Hunter, this could be a lane that Mousesports will be forced to help out.
So potentially we have maybe 2 of the 3 lanes being won by Mousesports, but that mid lane is going to be the one that suffers the most. You could already see the aggression that's coming out from Mouse, trying to threaten Burning as much as possible. We were talking about the Train Protector. He just seems like a very solid laning phase support, but there are some things that Juggernaut can do against that, right? Oh, Q picks up another death there. Now Burning's going to have to man fight up against the 3 of them. Skylark's actually dropping a little bit low. They're turning to fight. Burning as best as possible. A Fairy Fire pop. Burning realizes he's in over his head. That's going to be a twofer for Mouse. Bobica unable to find Skylark in time. He gets the full healing salve off. And Mouse, hey, they said they were going to bring something different. They're already starting off a strong laning phase.
You think a tri-lane with Beastmaster is different? It's pretty different.
Yeah,
it's pretty different,
right? Yeah, you've got the. I mean, we've seen this maybe like once or twice, you know, with the attack speed aura, people trying to take advantage of the strong laning phase that Beastmaster is able to offer if he just is able to kind of even the odds. But I think what's potentially even better, right, is that top lane that we haven't really mentioned too much. But we've got a 1v1 Timbersaw versus a melee strength hero. That's always going to go well.
Magnus is a bit different than other melee strength heroes in his really good damage in the beginning with the power, and of course you have a spell that you can farm with. If Timber is pressuring you a lot, you will definitely still get a decent amount, but I am expecting Timber to eventually probably come out on top in this lane. Do want to mention as well, by the way, this bottom lane, great play from Skylark, baiting in and then ultimately having the Fairy Fire. It's an item we almost never see used anymore. Skylark is probably the biggest fan of this item in the entire competitive Dota 2 scene. I feel like he buys it significantly more than even the second most purchased from any player. It just seems like when Skylark plays Batrider, he'll gladly play like double Fairy. In this game, he's playing a single one on Beast. Oh, need to be careful down here.
Do you think he just puts a lot of focus on winning that like one little fight, right?
Yes.
As an offlaner, if you can win that one fight, the lane is kind of won for you because you get boots and everything from there. But so the Fairy Fire is giving you that little bit of lopsided offense.
Yeah, he plays a bait basically in a lot of the games. So that's why it's so good on Batrider, because when Batrider starts dropping low and you think you have him, if he just survives that little bit longer with Firefly and Napalm running, you might turn it into a kill. Can completely change the entire pace of the early game if Batrider gets a good start. And in this case with the Beastmaster, pretty sure he would have died there to Burning if not for the Fairy Fire. And as mentioned, if there's an item that kind of falls out of favor and people don't run it, it's not as active in your, you don't have the presence of mind all the time to think about these things, and it's just not something you're paying too much attention to.
Now, you said this lane is going to be a bit easier for SF than it was from the past, and he had a great start thanks to the Bounty Hunter. You could see it in the CS that currently OP is sitting a bit above Thug, but the other 2 lanes are currently being won by Mouse, so it kind of evens out. You can see Mouse are really trying to use the pulls as much as possible. The Timbersaw pushing himself forward against the Magnus and then operating on that hard camp pull, trying to deny as much experience and gold away from that Magnus, and we saw the same thing from their aggro tri-lane as well.
This is looking surprisingly good for Magnus, though. I don't know if this is expected to happen when Timber especially has the safe lane.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Timber Sauce in this position would do something else than what Madara has done in this game. They would go for maybe an Orb of Venom and just run at the Magnus, hit him, keep using your Whirling Death and try to zone him away. But they're taking a bit more of a farming approach. Magnus obviously has the Shrine advantage. He's going to activate that just now and head back up to the lane. But Madara seems to be getting a little bit of an experience lead now. The CS is even, but he has the deny advantage on the Mag, and Mag's actually retreating to the jungle for now.
Maybe just a bit of efficiency since he's already there from the Shrine. Picks up the Bounty Rune as well.
I think this... don't know if this is worth it overall. It looks pretty close, actually. It's fairly even.
Burning. Not going to be caught inside that static field. Did have the spin anyway, so now they're actually going to try and go on to Skylark here. Maybe next time's going to come in, but it looks like Skylark dropping low. That stun comes in for the Train Protector is just enough to give Skylark the space to be able to escape. Maybe next time is quite low, though, and he's trying to hide himself into the trees. He is going to be able to get away from Bobacut just in time. So IG, their defensive tri lane, is beginning to strike back, but hasn't yet managed to pick up a score, and Mouse, they still had that off lane trying to work off of, so this is going to go bad for IG.
I'm surprised to see maybe next time going for this point in living armor. Felt pretty useless there as well. You know, you just get immediately removed by the Juggernaut.
But so is Leech Seed against Jug, right?
On the Jugger, but on every other hero, the Leech Seed gives them kill potential. Maybe the read here from Mouse is that IG will not be out of position on any of the other heroes, so the opportunity won't present itself. Just maybe showing some respect to the support players
in an awkward space. Maybe next time set up a trap. They are going to be able to slow him down. He doesn't have that Leech Seed, though. Now he picks it up. Just picked up his level 3 off the neutrals. Perfect timing. Skylark's here with the slow from the boars, and that'll make it an easy 4 kills in the first 6 minutes of the game.
With their courier here. Treant's bash does work on it. It's obviously a very short duration on level 1, but we're probably going to see them send it down through the tree line. Actually not paying attention to it at all, but Mouse, oh, there we go. But Mouse are not going for it now. So still, great early laning stage from Mousesports. I feel like their lineup to an extent maybe needs it. As far as the team fight potential goes, they do have, obviously, the Overgrowth and the Static Storm, but I would say, you know, as far as AoE lockdown goes, Overgrowth falls off pretty quickly, actually, against heroes like Juggernaut and Shadow Fiend that both want to buy either Manta or BKB.
Right.
So you have to get off to a good laning stage, and so far so good for them.
Forced out the spin. Burning, only able to pick up one of those boars, is now going to be locked inside the static field, but they're going to battle it back, putting some damage onto Skylark to make sure he cannot threaten Burning's life. Now, our Magnus actually not leveling RP at level 6 is so far trying to get himself as much laning phase as possible. For me, I thought because the defensive tri-lane of IG was suffering, we might see an early rotation from XXS and try and do something. But do you think Magnus just isn't that kind of hero? It's not a Clockwork or something like that that is able to offset an aggro tri-lane and needs to focus more on farming?
I definitely think it's a possibility. It just seems like IG are pretty comfortable with their safe lane right now. They know Burning isn't getting full free farm, but the read is probably, you know, XXS is having a decent time at the very least. I would like to see, oh, wait a second, bottom lane.
Q kind of caught, but they are going to be able to go on a Skylark. It looks like that should be a kill, and Skylark's going to be run down by Burning, and Q is going to be run down inevitably by maybe next time, but picking up the core is way more important and forcing Spartan out of the lane.
Good trade for IG here. Get their first kill on the board. They trade their Crystal Maiden support for the Beastmaster. CM has already had a pretty tough laning stage. She's died 4 times here at minute 7. So her relative value compared to the Beastmaster kill definitely favors IG in that instance. And now that the Shrine is used and IG are starting to find some footing down here, I feel like this aggressive tri-lane for Mousesports has done what it was supposed to, maybe slightly more, and can't really... I don't think they can stay down here. Burning will close in on level 6, and I think this aggressive tri-lane will just fall flat at that point. So good read for Mouse here, starting to rotate around. They're moving both the Disruptor, and it seems like Treant might go bottom again, but Disruptor at least crossing over to mid, helping out Thug. But no kill was found in that lane.
Yeah, Thug, a bit too low to be able to take advantage of that. XXS building towards his early Blink Dagger. And this is one of the things, right, is even if Burning's farm suffers somewhat, IG have already made the read that they're going to be able to make the comeback in the laning phase a little bit later on, and they're going to have that Empower to work off of, right? And that'll kind of boost the Juggernaut through that 15 to 20 minute window, and he can easily make a comeback in net worth.
Absolutely. It's very classic stuff when you're running this mag. It's what makes the hero so powerful in something like an off-lane role, just because you have, even if the other lanes don't go in the the best you would expect. You can still, like you said, you can come back with Empower. You have the team fight ability off the offlaner, and even an offlaner that, should the game go long enough, actually scales really well compared to a lot of other heroes that you would put in that position. So, for example, if you can choose between a 15k net worth Magnus and Beastmaster, you can make cases for both. They have different strengths, but it's definitely not gold wasted on a Magnus. He can even turn into almost a carry, if you will. Oh, nice. RP top.
They're going to be able to jump in from OP with that match damage. They make short work of Madara. 2-5 now at 9 minutes.
Very nice play here from IG. It looked like XXS was already calling. I know I'm going to get this RP. Just start TPing in. He was already in position when the RP landed. They skewer in and get a quick pick there on Madara.
They know
a very big kill.
They saw the two cores kind of preoccupied up at the top lane, thinking maybe they can have a go at bottom, trying to catch the bounty hunter, but Bobica one step ahead, and it's looking real good for IG right now. The kill on the Timbersaw now puts the Magnus ahead at 4,200 net worth, seconded by the SF. So despite the 1v1s that Mouse were trying to force, it actually seems like IG had managed to come ahead.
And OP on this Shadow Fiend is currently out farming the Templar Assassin. Of course, TA has the advantage of being better at clearing Ancients, so her CS will be worth a little more relatively, but the Shadow Fiend, the kill he found on top on the Timbers actually gives him a full level advantage on Thug at the current point in time, higher CS, and now he even has an Invis rune. He can solo kill this TA. Oh, okay, he's gonna just pop out and push the wave. Probably looks to pressure the tower as TA will want to retreat into the jungle and farm up. And this will give OP the opportunity to do a lot of damage mid. Someone has to defend it.
Yeah, there's the Omni Slash. They're gonna be able to get that kill. I thought maybe Bobica would be able to get the kill on the TA. But Thug making sure he's not caught. Nice Static Storm, Static Field combination. They're going to be able to catch him inside of that one. Should be able to blow him up. OP trying to get whatever damage he can. But his Death Requiem will not be enough to bring Thug down.
That is the first reveal of the Static Storm. And probably the highest value kill they could find on the map. This is clearly better than killing the Juggernaut. Not only do you kill the Shadow Fiend, but your mid-hero TA is involved in it. And as a result, Thug is pretty much neck and neck now with OP.
Take a knockdown on his souls as well, and that's going to make it harder for the SF, right? Dealing with that TA.
What we're seeing right now as well is one of the really big advantages of Safe Lane Timbersaw. Just constant pressure on the tower. You can think a bit of it as a Dragon Knight in the sense that, you know, if you leave the lane, he will just keep pushing and he won't stop until the tower falls. Just because he can tank it himself with reactive armor. Yeah, maybe they want to go for a skewer, not going to happen.
Well, Bobica's there to be able to slow him down, so they're going to try. They won't have the skewer backwards, but they'll stop his Timber Chain. Double nuke from OP, finish him off.
That was a really, really well executed kill. I thought he got far enough away with that Timber Chain, but of course, only level 1. Can't travel too far, can't travel too fast. And
talking about that chip damage you referred to from the Timbersaw, right? How he inevitably takes his tower in 1v1s. That is one thing that IG will not be able to play off of, right? Because big factor in this Treant Protector. Do you think that's one of the many reasons that we're seeing so much tree is that there seem to be a little bit more focus on split pushing and, you know, kind of chipping away at towers rather than these 5-man pushes.
Did you see that?
No, I missed it. What happened?
Burning just casually ran by a tree and quelled it, and that was the one MNT was next to, so he lost his invis and couldn't match. Like, oh well, unfortunate. Oh yeah, but I agree for sure. Like the living armor is a really big deal. Defending towers has been a big part of Dota for as long as I can remember. It's becoming more and more important, I would say, over the last 2 years. Like, teams are putting way more emphasis on not losing map control. So a hero that can protect the towers is absolutely great. And yeah, I would say overall, with the changes to towers or with how they get armor with heroes nearby, etc., it's a lot harder to knock them down, and split pushing especially is way less effective against this living armor. Most Treants, however, we do see max nature's guys first. It's really important. And as a result, living armor comes quite a bit later. So there is a window right now for IG where they could maybe try to group up their Juggernaut and Shadow Fiend in the lane and push a tower. If they can make like one quick rotation and kill a core, that could turn into a tower kill in mid, for example.
And that would be the most important tower bounty they could possibly get, right? It's like IG, they've given up their side lane towers, and that's okay for the time being, but you've got to put some emphasis on defending your mid tower, right?
Yes. You can't really keep giving up map control. As far as IG go, they have some key items that are now available. The Magnus Blink Dagger and the Shadow Fiend Shadow Blade is coming up in 200 gold. I think that's the spike they're looking for, where they want to make plays. Oh, Madara is in trouble again.
Round 3. They've got the magic damage, but a Static Storm catches them. Spartan lays the trap. Madara is the bait. They're going to be able to collect 2 off of that one, but it might be too much. With Burning here, he bounced over to Spartan, trying to run down Madara. Will be able to get him with the spin, though. And so that ends up being a 1-for-2 exchange. Well played by Spartan. And Madara kind of leading that whole entire trap up. But IG, they did bring the forces necessary to still kill that ever-present Timbersaw.
At the same time, though, it still ends up being a 2-for-1. Skylark is pushing out the bottom lane. This is one of the strengths of Beastmaster, is his constant pressure. That's why we see them often going for this Vladimir's build-up just to be able to push. Oh, dust from MNT, not going to connect on the bounty. But it's very clear that IG are being pressured really hard in this game. Like they always seem to be on the defending side with their lanes being shoved in. And until they start finding their own openings, I see Mouse just having better control of the map. It's time for the Shadowblade of Shadow Fiend to maybe connect with an RP that they still have. They didn't use that for the Timber kill, which is very important.
Right.
This is a key cooldown right now. I, once again, would really like to see some sort of mid-play come out. No smoke has been used, though. And big benefit of Treant and Bounty Hunter, both exceptional at warding. Just look at how much vision Mouse have in the Radiant jungle right now. Because of this Treant, and vice versa, in the Dire jungle, there's 2 good aggressive wards coming out from the Bounty Hunter. So
they might even be able to.
Here comes the push, man.
Yeah. And this is just not going to be defended in time by Mouse. So a big objective pickup for IG, being able to bully down that mid tower before the living armor.
This is really hurting their tower. Skylark is taking 2/3 of a tower so far, just standing next to the creepway with his aura, so he's not exposing himself. These 2 boars are dealing really significant damage. He almost took a full tower while they were mid.
Yeah, they are still giving that one up, though, because they actually smoke up as a 3-man and rotate upwards.
It just feels really obvious, this smoke, right?
Yeah.
You have a Beastmaster who almost took a full tower bottom. You know IG just took the tier 1 mid, and you can see Mousesports are just avoiding them at every turn.
Yeah, there's only 2 ways this rotation is going to work, and that kind of smoke, maybe they go bottom, try and catch Skylark, but they've already known. Like, they've got the scouting heroes set in position to be able to intercept that smoke if they did get close. So they knew if nobody's popping that smoke in the bottom lane, that's got to be top. And they avoid it entirely, take the tier 2 at bottom lane. There is still that mid tower, and you could see Spartan wants to make a play for it now.
Let's see if they can get a flank play here. Treant is trying to move up on the left. This is actually... Mouse have a really good grip on the Radiant jungle, excuse me. Again, these aggressive wards are doing so much work. There is 1 defensive ward in the Radiant jungle, so they have a bit of information and know that Mouse are going for this, but I don't know if IG feel like they're set up to take this fight. Juggernaut is not in position just yet. He can TP in, but then he'll only have 1 spell. Actually, he has a 1. He has enough mana. Mouse are already in a great position. Oh.
XXS. Kind of setting up, but maybe next time has all the kind of vision to be able to see this. He's spotted by the counter ward. They're going to try and blow him up real quickly. Nice skewer backwards from XXS. Not able to get off that overgrowth, so the Treant Protector will not be able to save himself, but Mouse do manage to take that tier 1 tower mid.
They lost their courier in the process, though. Baboka went in and sniped that in mid, so fair trade-off for IG, I guess you could say. Actually, Mouse want to fight this 4 and 5.
They want to get some Bloodstone charges onto the Timbersaw, and they'll find it too. You can see Mouse still maintaining a good spread of all their heroes, though, under the threat of XXS's potential RP with an SF ready to go with that AoE damage.
They knew Burning had to TP in to join that fight and outnumber them, and they see him pushing their top tower, so they're just trying to get whatever advantage they can out of it. Do get that kill on Q.
Now, the next objective has got to be Roshan, right, for Mouse. Tier 2s are going to be a little bit difficult to continue to push down, and they've created a lot of map control by taking away all those outer towers.
It's going to be really interesting to see what direction they go in terms of itemization. I feel like some heroes right now are fairly obvious, like TA will go Blink into Deso, and then probably we'll see maybe a BKB here, could be a good choice, or perhaps, I feel like that's like the obvious choice. Treant, however, has gone Phase Boots, and he's going into Medallion. I like seeing this. It's creative. I don't think we've seen too much Phase on Tree. Maybe I'm wrong, but most players generally will go for the Arcane Boots, or maybe not even upgrading the boots at all and going for a Midas. But when he's going for this Medallion build, he has the great mobility to get in and get a good overgrowth off, and of course the Nature Skies. And compared to the past, Treant actually doesn't need as much mana. He can get the Mana Regen talent on level 10, and he has the Mana Regen of Medallion, so
you can use Phase Boots to still stay invis, right? So you can actually, this kind of increases your range, right, of being able to run away from a tree and bop someone on the head and get that stun. We've seen the way they use Blink Daggers that way, right?
Currently, when he activates Phase Boots, he has 500, I think it was 504 move speed, and that's with the level 2 Nature's Guy. So once that reaches level 4, he's actually hasted when he uses the Phase Boots. So makes it very, very easy to get that clop off. And of course, being able to constantly move and reposition yourself with Treant is incredible when you have a 2.2 second stun on a 3-second cooldown. It's pretty absurd. Spartan will actually get a really, really quick level 10 here on the Disruptor. Very impressive. He's going to go for the cast range over GPM. We see various choices in this regard.
This kind of backs up the idea that Mouse are bringing to this, right? Very mid-game focus. Not really a whole lot of outs when it comes to late game. We haven't seen a High Midas picked up by them yet. So this is very much an all-in play for the mid-game. And IG, this is probably going to be one of their toughest weathering points, right? They've just got to weather through this tough mid-game. That Mousesports is going to be much stronger than them.
Now, IG have to give up ground here. They kind of figured out that Mousesports are smoked, but they're not sure where they are. And as a result, they are backing off from the smoke, and Mouse just take Roche. Very nice, very quick play.
Yeah,
IG are in no position to contest this.
Early Deso and that medallion, they make pretty short work of that Roche.
This is such a Mousesports classic, playing Thug on the TA, and they have Scarlock on Beastmaster.
Oh, but the RP comes in! They manage to catch 3, pull 2 back, and that's going to be laid waste as the AoE damage comes in from IG. They got Skylark and Spartan's Disruptor. They didn't get either one of the real value kills in the Timbersaw or the Templar Assassin, but still, a big play by IG.
XXS on Magnus has had a couple of misplays in this tournament where he gets a really good RP but doesn't get the full skewer. He's mistiming it a slight bit, and because of that doesn't get Madara in the skewer. He got him in the RP. The RP was fantastic, and that would have been a triple kill if he managed to bring in Madara. I don't see any way out for him. So like you said, no cores die for Mouse. All right, well, Beastmaster, but not one of the
lesser of the
two
3,
big cores.
right? Yeah.
So they can consider themselves lucky for that. But IG are definitely not. They're not sitting back and waiting for Mouse to push with this Aegis. They're trying to take whatever advantages they can find, and that was a big one.
Used a couple ultimates there, so I wouldn't be surprised. Mouse still have the Aegis. It's time to take the rest of those tier 2s, right?
It's time to, at the very least, get one while RP is on cooldown. I think IG won't even bother trying to defend this top tier 2. It seems very unlikely that they will get a favorable fight. So more than likely they have this read, okay, Timber and TA are already showing top. Get as much push out on bottom as you can with Juggernaut. Shadowfiend will push in mid, and we're going to lose this time.
Bobica, he's been standing in this area. He knew, hey, they're all pushing top lane. That courier's going to be funneling back and forth. If I just wait out here, eventually a courier is going to head out to them, and sure enough, he finds it.
Mouse could go high ground. They have Necrobook, Aegis, no RP. This is very bold, but at the same time, for the next short amount of time, they definitely have a fighting advantage here, even under tower. But they need to be very careful not to overextend. IG are set up. Burning used his Manta bottom and then TP top. And he actually already has the Diffusal as well. So that's another instant removal of the Living Armor. A good way to put a lot of pressure on Timbersaw as well.
Even the supports can't even rely on, say, a Ghost Scepter, be able to protect themselves from that Omni Slash. So maybe next time, and Spartan are going to have to keep a little bit of awareness of that. You can see this Bounty Hunter really hasn't managed to be super successful for them, just simply because Mouse have been in such good control of the game. They haven't really racked up those big bounty kills, and that's going to be hard, right? The Bounty Hunter is very much a hit-or-miss hero in that regard. If you don't get the track gold flowing, then Bounty Hunter essentially comes into the mid-game as a crappy support.
I would say overall in this game, though, like the track hasn't been too big of a play, but he's got 2 couriers.
That's true, that's true.
If you're a Bounty Hunter, there's like there's 3 things you want to happen in the game. You want to get kills in the laning stage if possible, you want to kill couriers, and you want to get track. That's it. And I feel like he actually accomplished 2 of those. The track we haven't really seen play that big of a role, but every courier kill is actually more valuable than a track kill on a core, almost. At least on a support. Just because Bounty himself gets a lot of experience from these 2 courier kills. He's level 9, soon to be 10. Got a full medallion going in toward a crest, similar to what we're seeing from the Treant, I would imagine. He actually bought a gem, so Mao's looking for that map control play.
Bobica getting spotted there, I think, for a moment.
Yep, he could be in trouble. Oh, they could have popped the Necrobook there with Skylark, and that would have been a kill, but... Oh, did they see him there? No, they did not. So he got a really good ward out here for this mid push that I'm imagining IG will look for later, or this is a courier snipe ward once again, wanted to get a 3rd kill on a courier. Very even game now, though, and Maus seem they seem a bit pressured here. I would like them to try to get this mid tower while they still have the Aegis. Not too much time left on it, though, only about a minute. And they are worried about IG looking for them right now. But IG are just farming.
Yeah, IG sitting back. I mean, that's the thing, right, is that we know Mousesports are going to have a good mid game, but late game, this is a pretty clear advantage for IG, right? They've got Magnus plus 2 really good scaling cores as well. Meanwhile, you've got Mousesports who mostly look at mid game, right? Templar Assassin,
for sure.
Beastmaster, very mid game focused heroes. So IG, even if the net worth is maybe a bit advantage of Mouse and they have better control, it's more of just a timer game for IG.
Something that's really significant when you look at TA late game is that when I think of TA, I always look at refraction. I think it's the key way you should think of the hero is that can we break refraction? Yeah, well, mainly, can we break refraction?
I was about to say, what else?
Okay, so there's 2 ways, right? The one way is the classic way of picking abilities that deal damage over time, like Juggernaut's Blade Fury.
Right.
But once you get later on in the game, you need to have heroes that can get through it through BKB. That's when TA generally hits a really big spike because your common counter picks fall off. Like
Right.
any of those damage over time abilities won't pierce. But what IG do have later in the game is they have 2 Manta carriers. Both Juggernaut and Shadow Fiend now are closing it, or Juggernaut already has it. Shadow Fiend is opting for this Manta style over, for example, a Silver Age against the Timber. He finds it more important that he can get out of Overgrowth and that he can hit TA. So even with this refraction talent that will inevitably come in at 25 if he, I'm imagining we will get a 25 TA this game.
Yeah.
You have very, very quick ways of getting rid of that refraction.
And
so
that makes sense to me, right? Is that
it's a classic
IG are
core
playing?
counter.
It's going to be a high ground game, right?
Yeah,
Like they're going to have to play for high ground defense here. Oh, OP with his invis going to pop out, try and blow up Spartan, but they do manage to get the Primal Roar off. Spartan's going to be blown up by the Omni Slash as the BKB and Omni Slash used, but they want to be able to find more. There goes the Overgrowth, immediately manted out, going to be able to run down Skylark pretty easily. Maybe next time it's an extra kill, and IG pick up 3+2, I believe, track kills off of that one.
And more importantly, they outlast the Aegis. Aegis managed to yield almost no advantage. They will get a lot of map control out of these kills. The bottom tier 1 tower is surely destined to fall here. Treant is not alive with Overgrowth or with Living Armor, but now when he comes up, there's still too long time on Beastmaster in the map. Just they aren't in a position to try to defend this. And this is one of the issues that Mousesports lineup has. If they are not the ones engaging and they just get jumped on, it's a lot harder to execute their team fight. Like without a good Static Storm, they don't have the control. Only Overgrowth, but there's the Manta and the BKB to play into. It's just really difficult. They need to get the jump with a Primal Roar on a key target and just follow through and burst him down and then take the fight from there. I think Magnus is the hero that you really want to go on here if you can. The Shadow Fiend getting BKB off there, crucial.
Right. And that was why we both kind of had question marks about that Disruptor. And Mousesports definitely, they kind of set up around the Disruptor quite well. They have a lot of vision heroes. They knew they were going to be mid-game aggressive. You never want to be on the defensive if you have a Disruptor, but at some point in time, IG are going to find that kind of smoke gank that allows them to be the initiators, and we can see how bad it goes for Mousesports when that occurs.
And if you look at on the defensive, if you want to use Disruptor well on the defensive, you often want to have someone set him up. Key heroes that are often great with Disruptor for high ground defense would be something like Magnus or something like Darkseer. Just
any of
anything
those
that
AoE.
can bring heroes together so the Static Storm can come off. The problem is when IG has information and have vision, they can just split their heroes up, move in from different angles, and Mouse don't have any way of bringing them together, and they don't want to Overgrowth just one hero and drop Static Storm on it. He could Manta, he could BKB on the Shadow Fiend, the Juggernaut can spin. So both of these cores are almost hard countering the 2 supports of Mouse, and again, that puts so much pressure on Skylark. He has to find the right engage. Also, just to me, it almost doesn't matter how farmed this TA is. She can't kill these heroes off unless they're controlled.
Oh, Bobaca's been found. He's also going to be dusted up, glimpsed back. He is very, very dead. So finally, all the scouting that he's been doing, I feel like he hasn't actually died that much. You know, he's accomplished a lot in sniping couriers and scouting the enemy, and he hasn't actually been caught that often.
And it's interesting because you have, arguably in this game, 2 of the top 3 Invis support players in the world. I think maybe next time and Boboka both are exceptional at playing this kind of style. So you would think that Mouse, by virtue of having maybe next time, would have perhaps better reads on Bounty Hunter movement, the courier snipes and everything, but Boboka has been very successful, I think.
Where's the early gem? Do you think this is not like something that Mousesports, well, they've got it now. I feel like they only just got that recently, right?
They had it on Treant a couple of minutes ago, and then he died in the fight. But I don't know how they brought it back, but they did manage to save it. Now they've put it on. They put it on the Beastmaster. I think they bought it while they had Aegis, and they wanted to really try to control the map, but they just didn't find the opportunity that they were looking for. I think it's the right approach. Like you were saying, their lineup needs to win in the mid game. You have to play whatever advantages you have. But to me now, it's starting to look pretty grim in terms of just setting up a favorable fight for themselves. As long as IG move us a squad like this and keep the farm going with Empower and this Shadowfiend who just naturally farms a lot, with or without Empower, this hero will get fat.
Yeah, it seems like to me, if I'm in Mousesports' position, I'm saying we have to get the Aegis and we have to take a lane of Rax with that Aegis.
Yes, they
right?
pretty much
And
need
we're
to.
looking at a game where Mousesports might not even be able to get that. As it is, IG are still currently sitting very aggressive. They're going to run into maybe next time. Maybe next time is going to be caught here by the Omni Slash. Oh, he actually brings over, tries to get the extra kill. You saw him try to blink over and catch the Disruptor as well, but not quite the range there. Only going to be able to get the maybe next time kill, but that is still numbers enough for IG to be able to take Roshan for themselves.
They need to be careful with this bottom lane. Scarlark has his Necro Book ready now. He's definitely going to pop this here and put a lot of pressure. This tier 3 will fall very quickly. IG need to get home. Mag is TPing.
Trying to get back. The Glyph bought them a lot of time to be able to work with. He's sitting back. Skylark's trying to just give the his Necronomicon minions enough attack speed to be able to take that tier 3, but it's not enough.
They got the best out of that. They
Yeah.
could. Half a tower is at least something, but not great. And now Spartan will be chased down here by Bobica. He will have a... Okay.
A 1-2 punch from OP.
Nice
Secures
damage.
Spartan's fate.
Shadowfiend with Empower. Hits for 400. Fair enough.
And now
Yeah.
we're going to have IG evening up the tower count, it looks like. If they could take mid, no, they're actually going to back off. Still afraid of that potential blitz at the bottom lane. They have another jump from Skylark. He could take that tier 3. They can't afford to unlock shrines after such a huge win taking that Aegis.
In some ways, this reminds me of the...
There's
wait
the
a
RP.
second. Yeah. That is a very, very big kill. And it goes to XXS. Don't think IG can take any objectives off of this. It's very far away from anything meaningful. Maybe they could cross over to mid and push this wave and get the tier 2. I'm a bit surprised Scarlark isn't immediately pouncing on this wave and pushing out mid. It's giving IG a little bit more opportunity here. Yeah, now it's being drawn out here by Spartan. We need to push this wave. They're going to go mid, but I think now it's too late. They will actually get this tower. 50 seconds on for TA. Will not be able to defend.
You've been a captain on the losing side of things plenty of times. You see Mouse,
That's very nice of you
to
say that.
we said that, hey, they've got to get this Aegis and take a lane of Rax with it, right? They didn't even get the Aegis.
No.
You're in this position as a captain. What do you look for? What's your next timing as Mousesports?
Well, the next timing was Roche, but they didn't get it.
Right.
So now, honestly, they don't really have much choice. They have to defend their high ground for now, obviously, but there's no TA, so they're going to lose a lane of Rax here, I would imagine.
Yeah.
If I'm the captain here, I say don't fight. Like, this fight is impossible, and if they go for it, they're going to lose the whole game. So concede your lane of barracks, just try to push out the wave as much as you can with the Timber Saw. Living Armor is holding what it can, but as a very minimum, this tower is down.
Yeah, they do have Skylark in the bottom lane, so it looks like IG are going to be forced back off of that one.
This is, again, in my opinion, the absolute best play Mousesports have. Try to defend, try to split push at the same time, and at least disperse the push in that way. But that fight is impossible to take. So if you're Mouse now, you look to keep playing the split push kind of game with Beastmaster. I think Skylark has the right idea just to almost set up camp down here. Just wait for the wave to push in and then be able to push it back. You have to wait for a moment of opportunity. The Aegis needs to expire. And ideally, maybe you get either a set of Boots of Travel on the Timbersaw, for example, so Beastmaster can actually start getting picks, or you set up more than one hero down there. You set the Beastmaster down there with a +1 so that you can turn it into a kill. And still, you need to show presence on the other lane so IG split up, because else they're free to keep moving together as a group. If there's no pressure coming in on their waves, they can be like, whatever, you know, if this top wave, if there's creeps hitting creeps, who cares? Like, just leave the lane. Let it be there. And look for plays elsewhere. And you see IG have a very clear-cut plan of sticking together as a unit.
Yeah,
You've seen
I
them
feel
split
like
up way less than Mouse over the course of this game.
Yeah, I feel like IG have just been constantly sitting on top of each other, and it has meant they've conceded a lot of these outer towers just pretty much for free, but it's meant that they've also never been in a bad situation where all the single target damage that Mouse have with Beastmaster, TA, it's never blown up a big core and gotten the big pick that could lead to so much more.
Mouse now actually going to look for a high ground siege. I think this is not the right idea. The Aegis is still in the hands of Juggernaut. Actually, with
some quick damage. The Shadow Blade, Static Storm, that wasn't it. They might be able to catch Skylark here. Skylark actually turns around, gets off that Primal Roar, but he's going to be caught by XXS.
That's a gem drop. That's a really big kill.
You could see maybe next time try to maybe think about going forward and getting that one. OP, you going to let it go? No, he's not. XXS didn't catch him.
Boboka's already on the hunt here. If Madara stays here and farms another camp, they already have the vision, so information is there. Madara will also farm this one. They're a bit too far away. Actually, he's getting pinged out here, so Madara will be able to escape more than likely. He's gone.
Mouse quick to try and push out the bottom lane fast enough to keep their map control, but it's looking like IG may be able to take another objective, that tier 2 at top lane maybe, and before the push comes in, no, they're going to back up. Again, sticking together.
This game in a way is reminding me of a game of the group stage where IG faced EG in that game, and IG had more of a team fight oriented lineup, and EG were playing Beastmaster with IO and Invoker, so they had like really hard split push.
Yep.
And they were looking for kills with this Beastmaster, and IG were playing a similar group up style. The issue that Mousesports have in this game compared to EG is that they don't have an IO. I feel like it would change the entire dynamic of the game in this game if Mouse had one. See a Treant. Because then they would be able to play the split push way more effectively, but it's a lot harder for the heroes to move around the map. When you don't have travels on Timber or TA, Beastmaster just doesn't have the same threat to him on the map. They need to keep farming and keep showing on waves that are being pushed in and give information. There's always the Bounty Hunter X factor. Does he see me, does he not? You don't really know what you're up against.
Do you think
IG did end up coming up on top in that EG game, but that was very close. And the reason I felt like it was close was, first of all, in my opinion, EG played a great game, and they had more tools. I feel like Mousesports' tools are like semi-broken at this point.
Like, they had the split push. It kind of played out for the first 25 minutes, but now they have no team fight, really. I mean, you could see they're willing to use these RPs and Omni Slashes. They're not worrying about the cooldown whatsoever, because if you look at the Mousesports lineup, their only real semblance of strong team fight is Static Storm that's countered out by BKB and Timbersaw, who also can put out damage with that magic immunity.
Yeah,
so
BKB is a really big deal in this game. The only hero who will really kill anything through it is the TA, but as we mentioned before, she's not really safe in these fights. It's hard for Thug to commit with confidence. You can see it on the kill score as well. He's 1-1-1. Like, the fights that Mousesports have been able to find have not really involved his Templar Assassin very much. And I don't think he's played a bad game. I think it's just difficult to get into the kind of fights he wants.
It felt exciting in a way, watching, Mouse and seeing like, oh, they're taking all this control, but it really does seem like IG, they just made the read. And they're like, everything that they're taking, it doesn't matter. Because all we have to do is stick together, make sure we don't get into really nasty fights in the early game. And as soon as we hit our mid game, as soon as we hit BKBs, as soon as we have Mantas, those two items just kill their lineup. And now we're seeing Mousesports struggling. They're kind of ratting things out. They're hoping to be able to force IG to split up, but it's just never happening. IG daring Mousesports to ever face this 5-on-5.
Something that could potentially get interesting would be if we saw a Hex come out on Mousesports from the Timber. I think that could maybe shift things a bit. I do not believe there's any Lotus available in the Radiant just yet, no. They don't have a Lotus Orb. They're also not building into one as it looks right now. So that could maybe give them an opportunity to get some more picks and to set up a fight on their terms. The issue is, as you mentioned, like, this Timbersaw has a lot of net worth, but it's really useless right now. Like, his net worth is very hard to put into play. He has some really big items. He has the Lotus Orb himself. He has a Shiva's Guard, but this hero is only magical damage right now. Now there's going to be even an Aghanim Scepter coming out. His damage output is huge, but it doesn't pay off unless they can set up the fight for him. And
now that suggests to me, though, is there a timing that swings back into Mousesports' favor when the BKBs start wearing low? Do you think ever that a 5-second BKB is just not enough, and finally we will see the impact of the Disruptor and the Timbersaw once again in this game? Because it feels like to me, with the suggestibilities going instead of the site, that he does feel like there is going to be another swing back in his favor that he can take advantage of.
The problem is, so one of the quote-unquote BKBs is Juggernaut's spin.
Right.
And that's free. So he's had that the whole time. And Shadowfiend's BKB has 9 seconds. And because Mousesports aren't able to set up fights, the chance for this BKB to drop low is very little. IG are just playing their advantage. They keep pushing and controlling the map now. They're farming out. And ultimately, the way this game is going, I could totally imagine there being one more BKB users here in the whole game. And that's a deciding fight that IG either take at Roche or in the Mousesports base with the next Aegis, and they win. So realistically, that plan is unlikely to be successful. But at the same time, you don't have so much else to play for here. He's going to go for Octarine, it looks like, on Timber. Once again, I think Hex is the best chance they have left. But
Blink Scythe and just see if you can get the right initiation.
Yeah, because realistically, the Beastmaster is not going to be able to do it all on his own. You have to have some sort of control here to set things up.
Spartan with his Blink, he kind of leads the way there with a smoke.
Axe Disruptor is a wild card as well. We haven't talked about that yet. He's only 4,000 gold away.
Kind of wish you had gone back for that
5.
60 GPM talent now.
Yeah. That would have helped a bit, at least.
Yeah.
But
that wasn't the game plan, right? Like, Mousesports, we're operating on a plan B when there was no plan B to begin with.
Exactly. Like, I don't blame him for this choice. I also think 60 GPM is fairly weak overall.
Yeah.
It's not that much when you look at the grand scheme of things. Like, in this game, how much would it have yielded him? He got level 10 at about...
It'd be maybe 1,500 by now or something like that. Not a whole lot.
Not even, I think. When did he get the talent? I think he got the talent at around minute 20.
We said it was pretty early, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was level 19. He had level 10, maybe. Okay. Something like that. So there's been 20 minutes since then. That's 1,200 gold. Yeah, close enough. So, yeah.
But the point is, it wouldn't be close to an
Not
X.
enough. And he is going for a Blink Dagger. I really like this build and Disruptor in general. I think you could say it's counterintuitive. You already have a spell that has 2 billion range, but now it has 2 billion plus 1,200. But it's just so he can set up the Static Storm.
Yep.
Once again, he can't rely on his teammates to set up the perfect Static Storm, so he needs to just hope that an opportunity presents itself where he can set up himself. And you need a Blink Dagger for that. There's no other.
It's got to be the end game Aegis for IG, and Mouse cannot afford to give it up. You're going to get him up to the cliff. Nice play there. But on the right-hand side, they are going to be able to get the Primal War, trying to blow up Burning. They do manage to get the silence onto him, but they need damage to be able to finish him off. Here comes Madara, but OP's already laid out the big one. Lays out that ultimate, has already finished off 2 members of Mouse, and ends up fighting against Madara. Decides against it, though. Backing away, IG read that this is potentially a fight that could still go bad. Now they go back in, trying to blow up Q. Thug is able to pick up that one, but Omni Slash is going to be able to take his life in return, and now that leaves IG just with a Timber Saw to be able to finish up. They have a buyback already. Thug is going to try and take advantage as IG move forward, but it looks like a quick call from IG has already forced them back, and they're going to lose no real big heroes for that fight whatsoever. Their 2 supports went down, and a buyback from the TA results in nothing.
It says a lot that Madara, who is a 5-slotted Timber, or 4.5, got 600 gold for killing Bounty Hunter. That's
Jesus.
That's bad news. And it's interesting. Well, they're going to get the Roche. That's what the buyback will give them here at the very least. So that's something. But again, can they set up? This has to be a go. And this is one of those moments where you're like crash and burn. You know, you try for a push, maybe it fails, it's over. But if you don't try, it's even worse. Like you have to try to play this moment now that you set up for yourself. But yeah, you need to consider when it comes to this game, the commentators, we can obviously always see the gold graphs and everything. The players don't have access to that, but they have access to the kill bounty. They can see in the game. Yeah. And the communication is flowing like that in the team. You're like, oh, we got 600 gold for this kill. So you try to like assess what the state of the game is based on that. You can get like a read on, okay, this kill was worth this much. The graph is probably in this area right now for us. And when you get 600 gold for a kill on a support at this point as the rich core, it points in, at the very least, a 5-digit direction, and probably a bad one.
Great RP from XXS, recognizing that Thug was the real threat. If they lost Burning inside of that Ecstatic Storm, the fight could have just gone real terrible for IG. So he locks down that primary damage dealer, and Madarez, the Timber Saw, just couldn't get there fast enough to take the Juggernaut's life, and saving Burning ends up resulting in Thug dying a little bit later on to that Omni Slash.
I'm wondering, speaking of Burning, if he's going to consider BKB. I was thinking it could be something on his mind earlier in the game. He did go for the Eye of Scotty now. That fight looked a little bit scary, because if he dies, it can be hard. If he has BKB, I just don't see him dying. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, literally the only way is just an axe from Disruptor, and we know that's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah, so it could be an option, but I think Burning feels very confident in his team, and now with this Scotty, he's a lot tankier than he was before. So the kill is difficult. I still think it is possible for Mousesports to bring him down in a roar if they combo everything on top of him, and that could set them up a fight. But they need to always be so wary of their positioning, even if it looks good and they can jump on this Juggernaut. They can't cluster up against Mag.
Yeah, they've got to basically all funnel in and like focus down that one hero that's Primal Roar, but that just leaves easy RPs for XXS.
That is a problem in their lineup as well. They need to come in close to deal damage. TA has that problem against Magnus inherently in every game. Timber Saw, to have his maximum damage output, also needs to come in, and you want to use the Whirling Death and the Timber Chain. If you only get your Chakrams out, that's not really significant enough. And you have your Beastmaster, who, in order to set up the roar in the first place, probably has to blink close to the Juggernaut. So you have this like weird dynamic for Mousesports where they actually have really, really good damage, but it's so high risk for them to apply that damage in any sort of fight.
This will be an interesting change-up.
Look at IG's positioning, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We, like, IG, they literally just play it safe as possible, right? We saw it from the last fight. The buybacks came out. They immediately backed up. Even before the buyback, they were grouping away and just kind of like, okay, let's back up. Let's see if, one of them overextend or something like that. Because this is it should be a straightforward win for IG,
yes.
right? Like, they're the ones who are like 80% slated to win this game, if not more so.
More, probably. The A just gave a little bit of chance to Mouse, but again, I've been saying this a lot, but it really is the start of the game. Can they even get themselves in a position where they can use the advantages that they have? And
right.
The problem here, what is really nice for IG here, I had a bit of a laugh at it, like they're sitting 5 heroes in their base, and Mousesports is literally all their heroes on the opposite side of the map, like, what are you scared of? Obviously, IG can't see it. The moment TA shows on the top wave, they start funneling out. And they just need that little piece of information to feel safe in their lineup. And they know that, sometimes it's worth giving away 1,000 or 2,000 gold, which is what happens if the enemy team's just farming jungle while you're sitting in base, you lose a bit of control. Risk reward.
Right.
That is what you look at if you're
looking at giving 10,000 gold away to Mouse. If you lose a fight, hey, what's bleeding away 1,000 gold while they're farming jungle?
And it's not just bleeding away 1,000 gold. They're bleeding away minutes on their Aegis.
Yeah, that's true.
So you just want to wait it out. Like I would imagine the graph is dipping like a little bit here. It's insignificant right now, like what's happening.
It is.
Mouse need to play like this for like 30 minutes, and then the game is even at this rate. So IG can take it easy, and they're obviously not going to camp in their base forever. They're waiting for the Aegis to expire, and then I would imagine we could see something like a smoke rotation. Obviously, Mag with this huge inventory. We talked about it early in the game, how Mag as a hero is very powerful, even in the offlane position, because he naturally finds farm with Empower and gets items that are high impact. He's stacked.
Yeah.
He has Lincolns, Shadow Blade, Refresher, Blink, Force, and Arcane Boots. This is, you can optimize this build a bit, but essentially he has what he needs for the next 20 minutes.
I was going to ask you if the refresher from the Beastmaster could really change much, but it feels like it's entirely counteracted, and it's not surpassed by the fact that Magnus has a refresher as well.
I think at this point you probably have to get a roar on the Mag, but it's difficult since he has the Lincoln. So Beastmaster needs to, in the blink of an eye, blink dagger in, use Necro Book, use the Mana Burn on the Necro Book to break the Lincolns and then roar, which is possible. It does happen from time to time, and of course they do have the Blink Glimpse as well that they can use to break the Lincolns if Beastmaster is not completely alone on the engage.
Oh, this could be one of those openings. IG already trying to get together as quick as possible. Maybe they could get the Mag, but it doesn't look like it. They're not going to be in position. The smoke is going to pop onto Q. They're going to get that Primal Roar out, immediately blinks himself away before OP can lay a hand on him. But OP, he sees this as an advantage. The Primal Roar's already wasted. Static Storm goes down. Spartan's going to be caught inside of that one. They do manage to get... Oh, there's the Juggernaut with the Refresher. Maybe they can blow him up, but OP, he's laying waste to all the other Mouse members, and they couldn't do enough damage to finish burning out. That means it's pretty much all over. Mouse are going to lose this fight. It's just a question of how many heroes are going to go down. They're going to use extra RP to finish off the Timbersaw as well. 4 end up dying in the end from Mouse, and the only one who goes down from IG is the insignificant bounty hunter at this point. IG in full control of this game, and that 80% now knocks up to 95, 99. It's a 100-second death timer on TA with no buyback in sight.
The buyback will be coming up in 20 seconds. He has to use it. He will be using this buyback, and that might make IG think twice about full committing here. They will definitely get this lane, probably a second lane as well. And then they might just be like, okay, this is good enough for now. If they want to, they can push pressure for it all the way. But obviously they have 2 RPs on cooldown, and they know Roar should be coming up soon. So there's a slight advantage in that sense for Mousesports. But, well, TA, you better buy back. There's nothing to wait for.
They're sticking around. No, OP doesn't even wait around for that melee racks. They read it just like you do, Sin. Burning, turning against Monterey. They do get the Roar onto him, but no damage. The Templar Assassin, not sure where he's at, but it's not there to be able to stop Burning from being able to TP away. It looks like maybe they catch Q, slowing him down with the Chakram. Madara does catch him out, trying to drop the gem. They won't see that one.
They will never find it here when I literally drop it on
You're
my
a clever guy, Q. Just hide it under the rock.
Well, it's a consolation prize here for Mouse. That was a really, really big loss. They did manage to hold their second lane, and they can obviously heal it up here with living armor, but RP coming up in 20 seconds. Or at least 20.
There's a buyback.
But they
Trying
need
to
to have the
slow him
numbers.
down.
Taking the opening game. Apologies for the sound issues that we had at the end of that match. Hopefully we'll get those fixed for you before the second game. Congratulations to Invictus Gaming, though. We said it was going to be tough for Mousesports. We're back with our panel members once more. Conrad's here, Malini and Fold. Conrad, we'll start with you. It was a tough game, but a great start from Mousesports. Kind of gave them hope in the early game.
Yeah, I really like what they did with that tri lane there. Just giving pressure to Burning and they saw, Baboka, is not going to be able to do as much to help save him here. But in the end, it didn't really work out. Burning able to get his farm along with XXS, just being able to empower and make him truly the carry that he was that game.
Fold, is this about what you thought might happen?
I thought it would probably be a little bit more one-sided, to be honest. I
Right.
thought Mouse had a very clever approach with that aggro tri-lane. I think they recognized how the weakness of IG in that one, at least for that lane, just because they have a CM, they have Bounty under the Jug. Bounty's going to be moving, CM not the strongest laner. They even do they get the level 1 first blood,
Yep.
and CM gets forced to skill Nova, which really actually hurt them in the laning phase. But they ended up being able to make some really cool decision-making throughout the game, really good patience coming out from IG, and very good smoke plays.
Yeah, it's very similar in some ways, Ben, to the way that they had to face against the AEG earlier on in the tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think their big problem in this game was that they weren't able to transition later on into winning team fights. I think that was their biggest issue. The Treant Protector had, phase medallion at the end of the game after getting a lot of kills in the early game. Maybe going for the greedier Midas, Midas, blah, blah, blah. But Midas probably would have been pretty important for them, so they could have had more items to actually deal with it. And felt like it was a big non-factor, especially after the 2 Manta styles. But I felt like IG identified what Mouse needed to do to win is just try and take a late game team fight. And IG, they're just like waiting. We have refresher RP, come at us. If you guys can't beat us in team fight, you're never going to win.
Yeah, it seemed that way the longer the game went on as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Was there any point at which you were given any confidence by Mousesports that they could win this game? I mean, particularly in the early game. First 5 minutes, they look fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it's just really hard transitioning to the tree, I think. Like, what do they do versus BKB? It's pretty much all on the TA. And once SF got BKB, he was kind of immortal. And they almost got Burning because he didn't buy BKB, but that was really the only opportunity that they had. I did like that play in the mid where they tried to kill Burning, and if they had gotten that kill, maybe things would have been a little bit different for them. But the avenue of winning for them was so slim at that point that they had to go for something desperate.
Yeah, I like that point you made. Like XXS, like maybe not just him personally, but maybe the team recognized it for him. But they were like, oh, okay. As soon as all the BKBs are procced, he's like, all he really needed to do in those fights, he didn't need to land a 4-man RP, 3-man RP. RP the TA, segregate the fight away from the tree ulti and the disruptor ulti because they have BKB, and then just kill the TA. All the damage is gone then.
In terms of MVP, Burning went 10-1-8 in the end. Also, endgame Rampage. We'll give him that. He chased it. Is he the MVP?
I think so. I think he played just really his job. He did exactly what he needed to do in that game.
It wasn't spectacular, was it, by any means? We've seen much more spectacular games from him before, but did deliver what his team needed for, and as you can see, above average on every area of statistics as well.
He itemized very well for Empower. Like, he had a ton of agility, like just so much agility. He was hitting very, very, very hard. So they just scaled much, much better, whereas all you really have on Dire side was Inner Beast.
Yeah, I really like the Blink Dagger that he brought there. You know, just being able to get right into the action and be able to get into the, TA and Timbersaw and Beastmaster and try and burst them before anything else happens. Yeah,
really cool decision-making coming up from IG in this game, though. Just like when you see that one big Roche play that they did go for on the side of Mousesports, they buy back Thug and they run straight to the Roche, and you see IG would